I see it on my screen.
Okay. It says an error occurred. Please try again later.
Yeah, those are always helpful comments, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess it's live, so let's try it anyway. So let's go ahead.
All right, good. I'm calling the meeting of the Marin Water for October 20th. And first on the agenda, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
All right. I guess we're going to do a roll call vote.
Okay. Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Russell,
Aye.
and President Gibson.
Aye. Okay, we got the hard part done. Do we have any public comments? One, I understand.
We did not have any comments at this time. I'm sorry, actually, we did receive one public comment. I forwarded it to the board and it will be posted later on after the meeting.
Okay. Do we have, I guess for directors and general managers report, Ben, we'll start with you.
Okay, I did want to share with the board that we had an unfortunate e-bike accident today on the watershed. Was a serious head injury. An e-bike rider happened to not be wearing a helmet and was transported via medevac. And I'll share with you in the next day or two when I hear the status, but apparently it didn't look too good. So I wanted you to know.
Okay, good, thank you.
Ben, where did it happen?
It happened on the fire road that runs through the Sky Oaks Meadow adjacent to the Meadow Club.
Wow.
Okay,
You never know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay, any director comments? Larry Bragman, do you have any comments?
Not today, thanks. No.
Okay, Cynthia, do you have any comments?
I do not, thanks.
All right, Larry Russell?
Nope.
Okay, and I have none. I guess we have a consent calendar. Do I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'd move, and I also just want to note the grant that staff got to study inner system, what do you call electric
Power.
turbines.
Right.
That's great. I mean, that's something we've all been looking forward to seeing implemented. So that's looking really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we've really been on a roll.
Yeah.
Successfully in ways I've never seen an organization like ours get these grants. It really does speak pretty highly of staff getting out there and beating the bushes and getting good applications in. And this I agree is a good one, partnering with UC Davis and the whole deal.
Yeah, it's a real step forward. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a major badge that we demonstrate the confidence to the grantors that we're able to do the work. So
Exactly.
that's very positive. Okay, I got a motion from Larry Bragman. Did I get a second for consent calendar?
Second.
Is that you, Cynthia? Did you second that?
Me. That was me, Cynthia.
Thank you. All right, that takes us to item number 4.
Oh, roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Russell,
Aye.
and President Gibson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4 on our regular calendar, water supply report for September.
Oh.
Almost gave the whole thing on mute there for a moment. Let's see. Great. So good evening, Paul Sellier, Operations Director, the water supply report for September. So So tonight we'll follow our usual format, take a quick look at taste and odor, and then a sort of historic view of the September just gone in terms of production and supply. We'll look at our storage snapshot as of yesterday, and then look in at our water supply strategy and projections for water storage going forward. Taste and odor, September looks pretty good. We had 4 complaints in September, and relative to the years on the chart, I'd say we're doing pretty good. Thus far in October, we've had 1 complaint in the lab. I know we've had a number of interests on social media on the stuff Jeannie has been putting out for us, so that's been reasonably well received there as well. Our reservoir storage, a lot of numbers on this chart, but as usual, the one to hone in on is our percent of average storage to date. So we're really tracking a pretty normal or average year for the water district in terms of our storage levels for this date, with about at the end of September, 52,000, almost 53,000 acre feet. And again, we'll take a look at our snapshot as of yesterday, where we're at relative to that. Monthly water production, slightly up from last year. In terms of imported water production for the year, we're higher than previous years. And we can talk a little bit more about that as we look at our water supply strategy in a slide a little bit later on. Again, another way of looking at our monthly production numbers, September here, 2020 in sort of the light blue, and adjacent to last year, that sort of rebound we'd been observing for most of the year, right, seems like it's slowing down. And another way of looking at that for us has been on this running 12-month potable water production chart, where the curve I've been sort of talking about, it seems like forever at this point, is finally, I think I can say, flattening out. And we can see relative to our previous peak over here, we're well below that. So that's good. Can we do better? Probably, but that's for another discussion. Our total reservoir storage, as I mentioned, shown graphically here with our green line representing where we are and our average line just above that. And you can see they're sort of, I don't know if it's wishful thinking on my part, but they're sort of converging here. They're not exactly parallel, but it's not going to be a significant change. It's really, we're tracking the average very well at this point. Moving to today, or actually yesterday, our snapshot again, we have 51,000 acre feet water in our reservoirs, 64% of storage, again, 96% of average for where we are today. Our imported water source from Lake Sonoma, they're at about 72% of capacity, and that's 170 something thousand acre feet of water in that reservoir. So a significant pool of water between the two agencies. Our strategy has been, as you know, to accelerate our water purchases this year. And you can see in blue representing the change from normal purchases, which are shown in the gray. We obviously didn't meet our targets for July, August, and September. And as you may recall, there were a few things going on in those months up north, fires, PS events, Cal ISO grid requests to turn down pumping and things like that. And of course, there are hydraulic constraints as well. So our goals remain to try to take as much water as we can through the rest of the year, and indeed until such time as we can predict or know that we're having a good winter. And if we're not having a good winter, then we will be continuing, presumably, those strategies at the pleasure of the board, and continuing to purchase water from Sonoma as much as we can and as much as is available. So again, projected reservoir storage, our black line is where we have been this summer, and we've been tracking our projections pretty well. Obviously, the slope of this line doesn't change much over the summer. There's no precipitation to speak of. And then it splits off here, and this chart is a little bit misleading. It says November down here, but that's actually the end of November.
Mhm.
So pretty close to the end of November is when we sort of, typically the start of our rainy season in earnest. And you can see here, if it's going to be a really wet year, the storage curve starts to climb quite steeply. And, here by the end of January, you're almost full in a really wet year. Of course, that's 150% of normal precipitation.
Yeah.
The green line and the blue line, of course, track, with the green line being a sort of a normal rain year for us of 52 inches of rain, and the blue line representing 50% of that, so about 26 inches of rain. Those two continue, right, for some time now through almost December before we start seeing any appreciable change in the normal storage curve. So as we've talked about in the past, these lines, all of them showing that we are missing our sort of voluntary rationing trigger next April. At least that's where we think we'll be based on these projections. And again, really where we will know or have a really good idea of what our storage and what our ability is to predict what sort of winter we're having really isn't going to happen until January. And I would add that rainfall in our area is really highly variable, and you can have dry Januaries and still fill reservoirs up, as we have all seen.
Mhm.
And so it is a difficult thing to predict, but I think the plan that we've talked about and discussed in terms of purchasing water from Sonoma at this accelerated pace will give us the opportunity to pull in even more water, next January, February, and so on if it continues to be dry. So in summary, we looked quickly at taste and odors. They appear to be seasonal, and of course the cooling trend that we're seeing is helping us. We're at the tail end of that sort of taste and odor season, if you will. Not quite done yet, but maybe soon we will be done with taste and odor for this year. Our water storage levels are really following the average and following our projections to date. We talked about our front-loaded purchases of water as our strategy to try to bring in as much imported supplemental water as we can. And of course, through demand management and water use efficiency initiatives, we're going to continue that sort of pressure as well. And we're going to be looking at our projections and monitoring that demand and our storage to make sure that we haven't missed anything or that something unusual doesn't occur for us. And again, our weather outlook, the best I can tell you today is that there's a cooling trend for this weekend. And that's my presentation for this evening. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
I have a question, Paul. Could you go to the first slide, the taste and odor slide?
Yeah.
As you can see, in year to year, there's a great disparity, and obviously the techniques we use to combat this problem are consistent. We have a handful of tools to work with, and we work with them. Why such a great discrepancy?
Yeah, terrific question. And if I had to answer in one of those one-word challenges, it would be biology.
Yeah.
It's just these are confounding nuisance problems that are really tough for us to, again, get a handle on. And honestly, I think we've been lucky this year, right? And some folks would say we'd rather be lucky than good. And I don't mean that we're not skilled. It's just this is a very challenging thing, and the narrow windows of opportunity to intervene in our taste and odor events are just that, very, very narrow margins.
I do want to note that Paul and his staff this year were very focused on it, particularly given the blue of what happened last year, and worked really hard. And Paul and I have talked about, you know, we got to be careful when we say that, because if you take credit for when it's good, right, the flip is there. But I did want to acknowledge some really good work this year and really good thought and really proactive activities in the field that had to have contributed, in part anyway.
Yeah. Okay, any other board questions? Okay, hearing none, do we have any public questions on this item?
Terry, you're on mute.
Thank you. At this time, we do not.
Okay, thank you. I guess we're on item number 5, approve the intern position for the watershed aid.
Yeah, and I believe, Vicki, you're going to take that on?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, board members and meeting participants. I'm Vicki Garay with the Human Resources Department, and I'm here to request that the board approve 5 intern positions and 6 watershed aid positions, excuse me, in support of vegetation management, maintenance, engineering projects, and district ranger support are some of the areas. Once a year, we typically ask for about 20 watershed aides and engineers or seasonal positions. This year, we asked for half of that. We only requested the summer group versus the summer and fall, because we wanted to be mindful of COVID-19 and the protocols around it. And after having a successful summer season, we're asking now for the remainder of the positions that we typically ask for. So we're asking again for 5 interns and 6 watershed aides, and the impact for that would be $232,000 approximately for the fiscal year, and this is budgeted annually.
Yeah. Okay.
So are there any questions?
Any board questions?
Okay.
A quick one, Vicki.
Yes.
So I understand. So you're asking for this, so you'd recruit now, because the fall, I mean, we're pretty well halfway done with fall. I mean, by the time you hire people, I'm just curious. So these folks
Right.
gonna stay then through the winter? Like, what's your thinking about their timing?
Yes, they typically start in the fall and then they go on through the winter.
Okay. So will you be doing this again in the spring for the summer? Or will
No.
you stay on through the summer?
Yeah, they will stay for 6 months. And then the next year, we'll ask for another group around March.
Around March. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
And Vicki, are the jobs posted on our website?
They will be posted if this item is approved. They should be posted,
Okay.
hopefully tomorrow, if we can move quickly.
Okay.
But we do the standard recruitment, even though they're intern and temp positions, to ensure we get a good process and good opportunity for a range of candidates.
Okay. And are we recruiting, is it mostly young people, college grads, or?
We get a wide range of people, but for the engineering positions and the interns, they're usually engineering students at local universities. And for watershed aides, we get a wide variety of ages, which is nice because people bring different levels of expertise.
Okay.
Okay.
Do
It
you
seems
have
to me
any?
that we should be careful to observe how many people apply. And if we get a bumper crop, I think we should think about increasing the number of people just to see if the people are really hungry and they need help. I think would be a good time to help them.
That would be great. We would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks looking for work, that's for sure. So,
Exactly.
What's the numbers on, say, engineering versus watershed? How are they spread out there?
So we have, in the engineering department, we have 3 engineer interns. One is a pipe locator intern, so it's not an engineering student. And then we have 2 positions, one in water quality and one in engineering.
Okay,
It's like a civil engineering.
okay. And how about the watershed aid?
The watershed aid, 2 vegetation management and 2 maintenance, 1 volunteer support and 1 ranger aid to help with park management.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, any other questions? Okay, this is an approval item. Can I get a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Kohler,
Aye.
Director Russell,
Aye.
and President Gibson.
Aye.
And we have no comments from the public.
Okay, thank you. Item number 6, future agenda items.
Good evening. So before you, we have upcoming meetings, Board of Directors meetings. And I do want to go over a couple of things. The first one is there is a scheduled board meeting for November 3rd. That is the same day as Election Day. And I'm not sure what the process has been here. I know other cities have, sometimes they would, not have a board meeting that day, but they will have it another day within that same week. So I was wondering if that would be something that the board would like to consider to cancel and reschedule for another time, the November 3rd meeting.
We usually do that. Thanks for seeing that. That got
Yeah.
past us.
Yeah,
So wondering, and we can loop back if the board needs to check calendars, or we could do it now, that either the Wednesday, the 4th, or Thursday, the 5th, if that would work offhand, if you knew, or we can separately reach out.
I'm good either of those days.
Me too.
Hold on.
I'll be just coming, we're going to be out of town. The 5th is possible. I'm not going to vouch for how awake I'll be after a 12-hour drive from Phoenix, but yes.
Would it make more sense to move it to the next week, Cynthia?
For me, it would, yeah.
Because we could just move it a week too.
Does that work for the staff?
Yeah, it works. It's just one, we have back-to-back weeks of board meetings, so you don't catch the full spectrum. But if it works better for the board, it's fine with us.
Okay,
Okay,
Worked for me.
works for me.
It's okay with me.
perfect. And then the other item I wanted to bring up is regarding there's I
So,
believe,
but on that, I just wanted to, if I could, clarify, is what worked for everyone the following Tuesday?
Right.
Is that ultimately?
Yeah.
So it would be
That's what we're
Tuesday
talking
the
about.
10th?
What is that date?
It's the 10th.
The 10th.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll plan on that for that one. Sorry, Terry, I just
no
wanted.
worries, no worries. And then also, I believe it's my understanding that there used to be or was a AWWA the first week of December, if I'm not mistaken. And since is the
Aqua.
Aqua, I'm sorry, thank you. And it was canceled or
COVID.
yes. And so because of that's no longer going to happen, may we have we're thinking about possibly having a December 1st meeting, Board of Directors meeting. And I didn't know what the thoughts were of the board, if that would be something you
I
would
think
like
it's
to
a good
consider.
idea, and that date works for me.
Other board members. So that would just be on our normally scheduled
Right.
first Tuesday of the month.
December 1st?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Okay.
So is that good?
That works for me too.
Larry, I'm assuming works for you?
Yes, that's fine. Yes.
Okay. All right. So we will have it our normal December first Tuesday of the month, December 1st at 7:30. Great. Other than that, those are the only two that I wanted to go over with for our schedule. I don't have any other dates to talk about unless you guys do.
Terry, could you give me the dates again? It's November what for that?
10,
Sure.
November 10, Jack, December 1st.
And December 1st. Okay, got it.
Yes. And I see no public comment for those.
Right. All right, I guess we'll reconvene to a closed session.
Okay.
Okay.
I will go ahead and shut off the YouTube stream on,
Sorry,
And-
if I may, Terry,
Sure.
would you like to ask for public comment on the closed session before we go into the closed session item?
sure.
Or President Gibson, I'm sorry, if
Sure.
you would
No,
like
that's
to
fine. That's fine.
take the public comment before we go into closed session.
All right.
Right.
And we do not.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Just
Thank you
making
both.
sure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, now let me do that.
All right.
Hold on.
Now we just hang on, I presume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm. For some reason, I can't get into the YouTube. Here we go.